Hi, boys and girls. Tonight we are going to be learning about three types of lines. The first type of line we're going to learn about is a parallel line or parallel lines. Parallel lines are two lines that never touch each other. Okay, so these two lines will continue on and on and on, no matter how long they go, they will never run into each other. And if you remember how we made our angles, we have a right angle is our perfect L. Then we have our obtuse angle is anything greater than 90 degrees. The perfect L is 90 degrees. And then we have our acute angle, which is a cute little angle, and that would be anything under 90 degrees. So with parallel lines, there are shapes that have parallel lines in them. Oh, wait, back to the angle thing. That's what I was telling you, the two different, the motions. The parallel lines for motions is what I tell my class, just like we did the right angle, the obtuse angle, and then the acute little angle. We also do motions for our parallel lines. And I just have the kids go like this. So it shows that this line would run on and on forever, and this line would run on and on forever,
like
and they would never touch.
Like this.
Yes, or you could do it this way, because then the two lines would go on and on forever, never touching each other. Okay, so there's some motions for that. Then, okay, here are some shapes that have parallel lines in them. A lot of times in math, when we're talking about geometry, which is our shapes and lines and all of that stuff, it'll say, find a set of parallel lines in these shapes. Okay, so I gave us some shapes here. A square has two sets of parallel lines. These two lines on top here, they will never, this line and this line, the top and the bottom of the square, that is a set of parallel lines because they will never touch each other.
Also right here.
Yes. This is another set of parallel lines right here and right here. So a square has two sets of parallel lines.
But you see right here, it makes one of these.
A perpendicular line.
Perpendicular.
Yes, so let's show them that. So even though there's two sets of parallel lines in a square, right here and right here, there's also perpendicular lines in this square. Right here, where these two lines meet and it makes a perfect cross at a right angle, that is called a perpendicular line. And I'll explain that to you a little bit more in a moment. Our rectangle has two sets of parallel lines. Up top here, down here, those two lines will never touch. And then this way, just like the square.
It will make a perpendicular.
And it'll also have perpendicular lines in it. Now, my trapezoid is a little bit different. And the reason why it's called a trapezoid is because a trapezoid only has one set of parallel lines. And that is right here, the top and the bottom. Now, these lines, they might look like they won't touch each other, but they will eventually.
Like a volcano?
Yes, they're not touching each other right now. But just like Vinny said, like a volcano, eventually they're going to collide at the top here. So if I extended this line on my trapezoid and then extended this line on my trapezoid, they end up intersecting. And they're intersecting right here at that point. And Vin's going to show you.
It makes
intersecting.
An intersecting
line right there. That would be the top of the volcano. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Okay, so parallel lines, two lines that will never touch each other no matter how far they go. And sometimes when you're looking at shapes, you have to extend those lines and make sure they're never going to touch. Motion for parallel lines, this or this. All right. Now, our next line we're going to talk about, our next type of lines is the perpendicular lines.
It makes a plus.
Yes, it does. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a right angle, which means it makes a plus sign. Plus sign across. I tried to make mine as straight as I could. It's a little crooked there. It's a little bit late. Mrs. Wojcik's getting a little tired. So our motions for our perpendicular lines is you could do a T, okay? That would be, or you could do a plus. All right, these are perpendicular lines.
You could kind of like do this kind of. Like
or you could do that kind, yeah.
Or this
T,
kind.
yeah, T.
Or this kind.
Yes, do quite a few motions there. Okay, so the reason why this is a perpendicular lines, these are perpendicular lines, is because they cross at a perfect L, 90 degrees at a right angle. Okay. And we saw those perpendicular lines in our square and in our rectangle.
Like
the third one we're going to learn about is intersecting lines. Intersecting lines are lines that make an X. They're lines that intersect each other, not making a right degree angle. So for this one, I just do an X like this. Okay, so we have parallel, never touching. We have perpendicular, crossing at a perfect 90-degree angle. A stop sign is a four-way stop. When you come up to a stop sign and there's four roads, that's a good example of perpendicular lines. And then our intersecting lines across. All right. And if you look at our intersecting lines up here on the board, this is not a perfect L. It's smaller than a right angle. This is an obtuse angle here. It's larger than a right angle, a 90-degree angle. Whoopsie. So real quick review. 3 sets of lines we've learned about today. Parallel lines never touch each other. Perpendicular lines cross at a 90-degree angle. And intersecting lines are any lines that cross each other but do not make a 90-degree angle. All right, guys, that's all we have for tonight. That is an example of a perpendicular line, intersecting line, parallel lines. Awesome. All right, everybody have a great night. See if you can find any other shapes with parallel lines, because they're all other ones are with perpendicular or intersecting.
And if you want, you could do a treasure hunt to find 3 items with B in it.
Thanks, Min. Okay, bye, guys.